Imagine a society where endless tribal wars, broken alliances, and deep mistrust had become an accepted way of life, where every disagreement threatened to ignite another cycle of revenge, and where no lasting peace seemed possible. What Islam's 1,400-year history says about the Constitution of Medina begins at precisely this extraordinary moment, when a newly established Muslim community faced challenges that could have destroyed its future before it had the opportunity to flourish. After the historic Hijrah from Mecca to Medina, Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, did not simply lead people to a new city. He guided them toward a completely new vision of society founded upon justice, responsibility, mercy, and unity. Medina itself was home to diverse communities, including the Muhajirun who had sacrificed everything by leaving Mecca, the Ansar who generously welcomed them into their homes and hearts, several Jewish tribes with long-standing influence, and other groups connected by complicated tribal relationships and competing interests. Every community possessed its own traditions, loyalties, and expectations, making harmony extremely difficult to achieve. The danger was real because a single misunderstanding could reopen old rivalries and plunge the city into conflict. Yet instead of relying solely on military strength or tribal dominance, the Prophet, PBUH, introduced a solution that reflected wisdom far beyond the political customs of 7th century Arabia. He established the Constitution of Madinah, a written agreement that defined rights, responsibilities, and mutual obligations among the various communities living together. This remarkable document declared that justice would stand above tribal favoritism, that every group would receive protection, and that cooperation would replace hostility whenever possible. It acknowledged religious diversity while creating a united civic community committed to defending Medina against external threats and preserving peace within its borders. The Constitution encouraged accountability instead of revenge, fairness instead of oppression, and collective security instead of selfish ambition. It demonstrated that strength could emerge from shared principles rather than fear, proving that lasting stability depended upon trust supported by clear agreements and moral leadership. The Muhajirun found dignity after sacrifice. The Ansar strengthened their bond through generosity, and neighboring communities discovered that coexistence could become a practical reality instead of an impossible dream. As this historic charter began shaping daily life, people witnessed something rarely seen in Arabia before Islam. Individuals from different backgrounds living under a common framework that respected both faith and justice. What seemed impossible slowly became reality, and the city that had once carried deep divisions started transforming into the heart of a civilization destined to influence generations across continents. Yet beneath this inspiring progress, hidden tensions still lingered beneath the surface. Not everyone welcomed the growing unity. Not every tribe accepted the new balance of justice, and not every heart embraced the responsibilities demanded by the Constitution. Powerful interests remained watchful, silent, and uncertain, waiting for an opportunity that could determine whether this extraordinary experiment in peaceful coexistence would survive or collapse before history could recognize its lasting significance. As the Constitution of Medina became the guiding framework for the city, its true strength was tested not during moments of comfort, but in times of uncertainty, when fear, suspicion, and external threats challenged every promise written within its articles. What Islam's 1,400-year history says about this remarkable charter is that principles only prove their value when they withstand pressure, and the growing Muslim community soon faced exactly such a trial. Medina was surrounded by forces that watched its development with concern, while enemies who opposed the message of Islam hoped that internal disagreements would weaken the city from within. The Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, understood that a society built upon justice required more than words preserved on parchment. It demanded sincere commitment from every community that had agreed to the covenant. Each group carried responsibilities alongside its rights, sharing the duty of protecting Medina, respecting lawful agreements, avoiding oppression, and resolving disputes through fairness instead of revenge. This balance transformed the Constitution into more than a political document because it became a moral commitment that encouraged every individual to place the common good above personal ambition. The Muhajirun continued rebuilding their lives after sacrificing their homes and wealth, while the Ansar demonstrated extraordinary generosity by sharing their resources without hesitation, proving that unity flourished through action rather than promises alone. The Jewish tribes retained their religious identity and received protection under the agreement, showing that peaceful coexistence could exist between different faith communities when justice remained the highest authority. This approach challenged long-standing traditions of tribal superiority by replacing inherited privilege with mutual accountability, creating an environment where loyalty to peace became stronger than loyalty to ancient rivalries. Nevertheless, not everyone remained faithful to the spirit of the covenant. Hidden resentment quietly spread among individuals who feared losing influence, while others secretly questioned whether such cooperation could endure in a region shaped by generations of conflict. Every rumor carried the potential to divide neighbors. Every misunderstanding threatened carefully built trust, and every external attack tested whether the people of Medina truly believed in the principles that united them. Yet the Prophet, PBUH, responded with patience, wisdom, and unwavering justice, refusing to allow emotion or favoritism to replace fairness. His leadership demonstrated that true authority is measured not by power alone, but by the ability to protect the rights of every person under one's care. The Constitution of Madinah, therefore, became a living example that civilization grows stronger when justice is applied equally, agreements are honored sincerely, and differences become opportunities for cooperation rather than excuses for hostility. More than 14 centuries later, its lessons continue to inspire historians, scholars, and believers who recognize that enduring peace cannot be achieved through force alone, but through trust, integrity, and shared responsibility. Even as the city gained strength and stability, the greatest challenge had not yet arrived. Powerful enemies were preparing to confront Medina directly, determined to destroy the unity that had transformed a divided society into a resilient community, and the coming events would reveal whether the Constitution could withstand the harshest trials that history was about to unleash. The years that followed proved beyond doubt that the Constitution of Madinah was far more than a temporary agreement designed to solve immediate problems, because its principles continued guiding the Muslim community through moments of victory, hardship, sacrifice, and transformation. What Islam's 1,400-year history says about this extraordinary charter is that lasting civilizations are not built merely upon wealth, military success, or political influence, but upon justice that earns the trust of people from every background. As Medina faced battles, shifting alliances, and the constant pressure of external enemies, the foundation established by Prophet Muhammad, PBUH, enabled the community to remain united despite enormous challenges. The written covenant reminded everyone that rights carried responsibilities, that leadership demanded accountability, and that peace could only survive when fairness was applied without prejudice. Although some individuals violated their agreements and chose paths that weakened the unity they had once promised to protect, the enduring principles of the Constitution remained a shining example of ethical governance. Its vision demonstrated that religious commitment and social responsibility could exist together, allowing different communities to live with dignity while preserving their own beliefs under a system that valued justice above tribal loyalty. Historians continue to study this remarkable document because it introduced concepts of mutual protection, collective security, legal responsibility, and peaceful coexistence centuries before many similar ideas became common elsewhere in the world. The Constitution did not erase differences between people. Instead, it provided a framework through which differences could exist without destroying society. This timeless lesson remains deeply relevant in every generation because communities everywhere continue searching for ways to replace division with cooperation, hatred with understanding, and conflict with lasting peace. The example of Medina teaches that true unity does not require every person to become identical, but it does require everyone to respect justice, honor agreements, and recognize the shared responsibility of protecting the common good. More than 14 centuries have passed, yet the wisdom contained within this historic charter continues, inspiring Muslims and students of history alike, reminding humanity that the strongest societies are those built upon trust, compassion, integrity, and unwavering moral principles. Every page of Islamic history reveals that when justice becomes the foundation of leadership, ordinary people can accomplish extraordinary achievements together. The Constitution of Madinah, therefore, remains one of the greatest demonstrations of visionary leadership ever recorded, showing how faith, wisdom, and practical governance combine to transform a city once divided by tribal conflict into the heart of a flourishing civilization whose influence spread across continents and generations. Its legacy encourages every thoughtful reader to reflect upon the power of fairness, the importance of honoring commitments, and the lasting value of building communities where every individual is treated with dignity and respect. These lessons are not confined to the past. They continue speaking to the present, inviting every generation to recognize that peace begins with justice. Unity grows through responsibility, and enduring success belongs to those who uphold truth even when challenges appear overwhelming. If you are benefiting from our topics, please subscribe, like, and turn on the bell notification so you can see our new videos early.